Okay. Always got to start with clearing the throat. That's the professional way to do things. Why does my frame rate look so weird? I don't know. Something looks off. It's been a long time since I've used these settings, so who the hell knows anymore? That's all correct. Don't know. Is that correct? Yep, that's correct. Okay. Don't know. Looks funky. At least it looks funky to me. All right. Hi, guys. Long time no see, everybody. Oh, that's so good. Well, not technically everybody. My patrons have seen me. So if you're not over on the Patreon, you have no idea what's been going on. Not really. But either way, very old familiar face there with Jay. What's going on? For some reason, his other message disappeared. That's really strange. All right. Either way, guys, make sure you do the like and subscribe thing. I'm actually not any closer to the camera. I might be slightly zoomed in. For all that matters, because we are set up for podcasting as usual. No, actually, I'm fine. No, there's just I can see something's a little bit weird. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Either way, guys, I don't even know. I don't even remember the last time I streamed. Gonna be honest, I think it's been like a month, or at least close to it. I know the last couple weeks I intended to try to stream, and just everything hit the fan. You know, a couple weeks ago we had the live podcast, so I was spending Friday night getting a lot of that together, and then I spent all of Saturday actually making it happen. And by the way, that is the live, actual, in person, in front of an audience version of the Now You Made It Awkward podcast, which coming up on July 11th, we have the second half of that live show. As weird as that sounds, is a two part episode. Either way. So, and I've recently discovered I say either way quite a lot now, and I'm gonna have to try to break myself of it. I mean, it, I mean, well, no, I'm sorry, you weren't there last night. Apologies, Sally. For those who don't know, the reason I didn't get to stream last week, even though that was also the intention, was that my dad died on Thursday. And then Friday, our AC died. I know I'm not trying to make a joke here. Literally, we got home. I was hanging out, having a couple beers, drowning my sorrows, watching the World Cup, and got home, brought some Whataburger home for the wifey, and she was sitting in here in the dark. Did not realize that the AC was literally venting all of its refrigerant into our apartment. And so we had to evacuate at least until we could air it out completely. And then we had no air conditioning for 4.5 days, give or take. So, my dad died. Obviously, sad situation. And then our AC just literally fell apart. And then it was just a crazy, crazy weekend otherwise. And so basically, there was no way I was going to attempt to sit in this room in front of any kind of lights, in 85-degree heat in here. I still haven't bothered to really look around to make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. Nothing's fallen over or melted. I know, actually, to be fair, some stuff did fall over in the interim when nobody was even in here. So, need to check on that. Either way, see, once again, I got to catch myself saying it. So we do have Sally, Jay, Tara, and I don't see any other names there other than myself for right now. I know, guys, it's weird for me to be back. Probably not going to do too many reactions. Probably do a couple just here and there, but mostly just want to talk and hang out because just feel like venting. That kind of stuff. I was going to do a request night, but I also wasn't paying attention to the clock. Dinner ran pretty late. I made quesadilla from scratch. A lot of fun. Tastes really good. Enormous mess. So we ate dinner. We were watching the finale of Clarkson's Farm, which, if you weren't following any other social medias, it would leave you very, very concerned about the future of Jeremy Clarkson. Um, it just started a couple minutes ago, Laura. Like literally, where's the amount of time there? 10 minutes minus the 4-minute intro. So yeah, I wasn't gonna say it. I was thinking about saying it, and I fought the urge to say it. Wait, wait, oh, sorry about that. So, dinner, ran late. We watched Clarkson's Farm. Then I was poking around on Reels, watched a couple interesting and or funny videos, and I went, oh yeah, I should probably go start the stream. I said I would do that. So we did the Patreon call last night, got everybody caught up on everything that's been going on. Usually the patrons know more about what's going on than over here on the main channel. So that's that. I started nothing, Sally. And by the way, everybody congratulate Sally for finally getting back on the Patreon as she discovered she was having technical difficulties. And I had to help her get that squared away. Oh, see, look, here we go. Now it's acting up. Yep, everybody but Sally, which is also a stretch, by the way. I had a rough week. I tripped and fell on the. Do you mean the 12th? Is that what you. Knocking out a tooth and finding out Tuesday I have one tooth pulled, so now I'm recovering that. Damn. Holy crap, look, it's Lisa. See, look, I go away for like almost a month, probably actually a month, and I start streaming and everybody shows up who's not normally here. That's what I thought, yeah. Also, I'm trying to read that with, my background here because I haven't switched the cameras. Let's see. I'm going to hit the button. All right, so even though I have this over here, it's just easier for me to read the. Oh man, is the chat gonna be stupid? The chat's gonna be stupid. It does this. I don't understand why. It doesn't reframe the size of the chat on the screen. That doesn't make any sense. But I remember it did this a while back, and it was incredibly annoying. Let's see here. There it goes. You dropped a pallet on your foot. Dude, you like, I'm not gonna say you're careless, but you are dangerous to yourself at your job. Like, I get that you have a very dangerous, like, literal wood flying at you job, but holy crap. Or at least you did. I assume you're still there. You am wonderful. Good job. Way to be wonderful, Lisa. I'm just gonna poke around, see if there's anything I want to watch. Because the other thing is like the main reason I kind of wanted to do a request stream was just to not go over the same 22 artists we always watch. Not that I have any issues with the artists we watch. It's just, yeah, we don't do a lot of different. Now over on Patreon, we tend to watch random stuff sometimes, or we do our trivia nights, which, what, next week? I don't know how calendars work on. Yeah, next week will be trivia night. So for everybody who is on the Patreon, next week will be trivia. Well, I mean, you can do both, I guess. Sun fell. Yeah, you were telling me about that earlier. Everybody's getting hurt. What the hell? Oh, Christine? I didn't see Christine. Oh, yeah, right there in the middle. Yeah. Yep. Hi, Christine. Yeah, I'm looking away and I miss things on the chat. Okay. So, about the World Cup stuff and all you Europeans coming over here and telling us how great our country is. I find that offensive somehow. It's always a fence. You just come over here, see our Buc-ee's and our Whataburger, and you fall in love on vacation. Yeah. I did see what okay, so I got it right here on the screen. So yeah, Bunny and Jelly Roll are getting divorced, which crazy, but I guess they did a podcast about it like the other day, which is crazy. Almost felt like the Will Smith Jada Pinkett Smith Red Table thing where she basically just berated him for 2 hours. How have I been? I mean, you came in after the description of how I've been. Not good is how I've been, because even prior to what I was just talking about, my disastrous last week, the week before on Monday, I had to take the missus to the hospital. Excuse me, the emergency room, because we weren't sure if she was having a heart attack or not. Something was wonky. Something is still wonky, but they can't tell if it's her heart or something else. And she goes in and out of extreme bouts of pain in her neck and her back, upper back, not to mention the actual issues with her heart. Then we had the very chaotic and incredibly busy day of doing the live podcast, which who knew putting on a live production was going to be hard? Whatever. And then, last week, for once again, those who just came in last week, my dad died. And then the next day, our air conditioner died. And that's why I couldn't stream last week, because it was legitimately like 83 or 85 degrees in this room with no cold air to be seen. It was very bad. Correct, Sally. Correct. Like, wait, America doesn't suck. I thought America sucks. We were told America sucks. And then, yeah. I mean, Laura was even there last night. It's been a minute since Laura was able to make it on the Patreon. I did watch Fat Electrician's video on the fighting preacher. That dude is insane. If you guys didn't watch that, I think it's one of his longest videos at almost nearly an hour and a half. And it's like the most decorated guy you've never heard of. It's crazy. Yeah, we definitely have been through it. And I mean, like, okay, so you really want to compound it? The week before our dad died, my brother's wife died. Like, literally the week before. So it's very, very not good for the Shoki family as it goes. I'm just scrolling to see if there's anything I actually want to bother to listen to. Longest Johns. Probably should watch some of my own clips. That was a terrible. I don't pay attention whenever I upload the clips initially, so it just does whatever YouTube thumbnail. So for those who don't know, the podcast channel does have a clips channel now. So, I'm just taking little, 6, 7, 15, 20, 35 minute clips of things. The Jackrabbits, I watched that this morning as well, Trisha. That was crazy. I didn't know about the rabbit. What do they call it? Rabbit Run? What do they call that? Where they got them all together. Right now I'm not. Right now I'm just talking, because I'm just I'm probably not gonna do a whole lot tonight. Honestly, just hang out and avoid the angry wifey slightly. Apparently, when you buy cookies for yourself and you don't go buy cookies for the wife, they get a little mad. Stuff does happen. That's funny. Sorry, one of my favorite local bakeries replied to my comment. I was like, man, I'm not going to be out there and you're doing peanut butter banana bread, peanut butter chocolate banana bread, actually. I was like, no. All right. Okay. I actually wanted to learn about the history of Husqvarna here from Ryan Kelly. Oh, I need to check. In theory, all my stuff is correct. I haven't bothered checking any of the settings lately. I haven't messed with them, any of them, but it doesn't mean it won't work. Go to sleep, Sally. You go. You go sleep now. Oh, yeah, more Wicked Game covers. Okay, yeah, so let's go just because I feel like doing a little bit here. I want to learn.
Hey, Husqvarna, what do you make?
So, if you guys haven't seen Ryan Kelly comedy over here, this is his channel. He's a comedian and NSA, CIA quality level hacker. Is it NSA? No. He's got a degree or master's degree in Homeland Security. It's cool.
Buddy.
We make everything you'll ever need to tame the great outdoors, and we've been doing it since before your country was created.
Wait, the lawnmower people are older than the US?
Yeah, we're older than 85% of countries around today. We were founded near the height of the Ottoman Empire.
Oh, wow.
In 1689, we were commissioned by the King of Sweden to start cooking up tools. Hence the origin of our logo.
Okay, why'd you say tools so weird? You couldn't have been doing lawnmowers back then because the first one was invented in 1830 by Edwin Beard. Buddy.
Okay, weird that you knew that. But we started making things long before lawns were
Weird
even a
that
thing
you knew
people
that.
cared about. And we didn't start with cutting grass. We started by making things that could cut down
Other things.
I mean, you make chainsaws now. Did you start with axes for trees?
No, not trees. More like empires. Our story began when the King of Sweden needed a reliable supply of muskets for his grand army. So by royal decree, the Husqvarna Rifle Factory was born.
Wait, time
You
out.
made
Your name in
guns?
Swedish doesn't mean Husqvarna Outdoor Products? What the heck does Husqvarna Vapenfabriks Aktiebolag mean?
Well, Husqvarna means house mill in medieval Swedish, which is the name of the town that we were from.
Not the word I had questions about.
Oh, Vapenfabriks Aktiebolag. Oh, means Weapons Factory Limited Company. We were a state armory for centuries. Our first major
Wow.
job was equipping the entire Swedish army for the Great Northern War to go shoot Russians.
So the same company that makes sewing machines to pierce dresses also was the official armorer for the Swedish Empire, making weapons to pierce Russians.
Precisely. But we were
I didn't know Husqvarna made sewing machines. I'm already learning things. I only know tractors. I didn't even, well, obviously outdoor stuff. I did not know any of the other things so far.
getting into enough wars, so we diversified and figured piercing things was piercing things. And since we had a factory full of skilled workers and precision machinery, in 1872 we started making sewing machines.
Okay, weirdly pragmatic crossover.
Wait.
Back to the other company.
Yeah, but by the late 1800s,
Oh, hold on. Sorry. I had automatic skip on there. That was for anybody wondering what happened
quick
there.
tangent. Can I have an
Eric
ADHD
the
break from
Lurker.
the editor?
Oh, yeah, he just got a car and needs gas funds, and I need pet food funds because I don't trust Winston not to sacrifice me during a desperate situation.
I
This
can't
is
blame
true.
him. I'd sacrifice you to cut the line at a coffee shop.
You're not comforting, you know that, right?
But you are. You helped
Okay.
a scam victim recently who was panicking and said the scammer, and I quote, even had my
Good to see you,
address and
Lisa.
the
Have
names
fun
of my
at the
dead
Tim
grandparents
Faust thing.
and my age.
Yeah, the victim didn't realize that information is incredibly easy to get a hold of, and scammers aren't going to do anything with it, but doesn't matter. Freaks people out, and that's what gets them to pay.
And then once the victim pays, the scammers keep coming back until the victim runs out of money. Oh boy. If I had some of the military gear that these companies we cover normally make, well, there'd be less scammers.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
Dude,
yes.
shut up. You're going to get disappeared by a scam ring.
Well, if you want your information to disappear and not be able to be threatened like this victim, you can use the sponsor of today's video, Delete Me, to help take your information offline and keep these scammers from being able to threaten you.
And if anybody wants 20% off, they can use my name, Ryan Kelly, at checkout for any consumer plan.
Or the link in the video description.
Thanks, Delete Me, for sponsoring this video and keeping us rolling. Anyway,
I actually use Delete Me, or at least I will up until the end of this month. It's actually pretty good. I've gotten significantly less scam emails and scam phone calls. They still slip through because it takes a while to remove your information from websites. But it definitely made a difference. And of course, if you can get a code from Fat Electrician or Ryan here, whoever, use it. Definitely use it because it's not a cheap service. It's affordable, but it's not cheap.
back to the other company.
Yeah, but by the late 1800s, guns
Also,
had changed.
delete me,
We
sponsor.
didn't need muskets anymore, so we moved on to rolling
Sponsor
block
me, please.
rifles.
What is a rolling block rifle? Like rolling the block? Like cruising down the street in my 6'4"?
Jocking the bit.
Slapping the hose.
No, not that rolling block. Easy was yet to exist. Rolling block describes the action used on a single-shot weapon where the breech is sealed by a breech lock able to rotate on a pin.
Ah, yes, of course. I should have stayed in engineering school.
We made
Should have,
thousands
yes.
of Remington M1867s under license, and it served both the Swedish and Norwegian armies for decades. But our masterpiece was the M1896 Swedish Mauser.
But Mauser is German. Did you just license everything you made?
I mean, mostly. Or we
Yeah.
made stuff with our sister group, Carl Gustav Stadsgevar's factory. However, we didn't just reproduce these things, we made them better. We made modifications the country wanted, and we made them all out of a steel alloyed with nickel, copper, and vanadium, which was superior in its strength and corrosion resistance.
That's very different than hedge trimming.
I mean,
Typo. Might have been on purpose. Hold on.
superior in its strength and
Strength. You guys can't really see it. Strength.
corrosion resistance.
That's very different than hedge trimming.
I mean, not really. It's just all high precision metal working to make sure if something is too high, it gets cut down. Sometimes it's leaves, sometimes it's a dude in a trench.
Wow, so dark, but
Yep.
so accurate.
Ah, don't worry, we didn't actually use them. We were neutral during both world wars, but we did produce tens of thousands of Mausers, you know, just in case.
Just in
You were
case.
not neutral. You didn't fight back and then funded the Germans. What was the Goebbels quote about Sweden?
Sweden has done more for the German war efforts than is generally recognized. Above all, it in some respects given us a substantial support in the war against the Soviet Union. It is true that it protects its neutrality, but much to our advantage.
And the quote from the head of the German Navy, Eric Raeder,
Without Swedish iron ore, our war industry would have died overnight.
not done. And Britain?
It must be understood that an adequate supply of Swedish iron ore is vital to Germany, and historians have concluded the war could have been shortened by 12 to 18 months without Sweden being so helpful. Dang, man, we made things for the Germans, but at least we sabotaged every chance we got.
Any thoughts, beacon of neutrality?
Okay, yeah, Sweden as a country was probably more like Switzerland, allegedly neutral, but extremely helpful to the Axis. However, we didn't make or send them any arms or vehicles. We did send them to the Finns, though, to help them fight the Russians.
Okay, you got
Yeah.
back into piercing Russians. Wait, why did Germany allow you to sell weapons to the Finns, who were fighting the Russians, when the Russians and the Germans were allied at the time, thanks to the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact?
Yeah, pretty dumb of Russia not to see Operation Barbarossa coming when Sweden, a literal vassal state for
By the way, I would like to point this out. That's my own custom glassware. Available at episode 200. I'm not currently wearing a shirt, though. I'm wearing a different one. But also, the other thing I bought and made. Custom challenge coins. Even though my camera's reversed. So, got custom challenge coins made for the show. Limited edition. Literally only 50 in the world.
Germany at the time was supplying arms to Russia's enemies.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, what else do you make?
Well, then we produced the Swedish version of the Lottie L-35 pistol called the M40. And during World War II, we studied every other submachine gun and helped Carl Gustav create the K-Pist M45.
Okay, what is that?
It's a fusion of everything great. The Swedish K, a simple, tough, and incredibly reliable little bullet hose.
Ah, we made it back to slapping the hose.
More like slapping people with the hose, but yes, it was so good that even though Sweden was
Wow.
neutral, our weapon found its way to many interesting places.
Interesting, like where?
The
Cambodia.
jungles of Southeast Asia, for one. The U.S. Navy SEALs and Army Special Forces absolutely loved the Swedish K during the Vietnam War. They found it was one of the few submachine guns that worked flawlessly in the mud and grime. We were the unofficial weapon of choice for America's elite secret soldiers.
You're telling me
Wow.
that Navy SEALs in Vietnam were
Oop,
using a
cat.
submachine gun made by the same people that made my dad's leaf blower?
Yeah, we made it for the meat grinder of war, but also made kitchen meat grinders as well, just to, you know, have both sides covered.
We
Yeah.
went from submachine guns to kitchen goods.
The other way around. Before we went full auto, rifle demand had waned. So in 1874, we started making kitchen goods. Our cast iron meat grinders are so good, we've exported over 12 million worldwide.
Okay,
Good
what
Lord.
else did you just casually try?
Bicycles! And then our finest non-weapon machine, motorcycles.
You made motorcycles too?
I knew
We
that.
dominated the motocross world of the 60s and 70s. Steve McQueen rode a Husqvarna. The engines that made these bikes great gave us the experience to build engines for really everything else.
Ah, and that's where the chainsaws come in.
Exactly. In 1959, we looked at our motorcycle engines and thought, what if instead of a wheel spinning, it was a chain and hated trees, and our first chainsaw was born?
Wait, you started making chainsaws in 1959? Thank God. I thought that you started making them way earlier for, like assisting in birthing surgeries.
Thankfully, no, we were way later to the party. We just did the tree version, and we just kept innovating with it, creating the first anti-vibration systems and automatic chain brakes. We made the chainsaw safer and more efficient for everyone.
Wow, this is somehow less horrifying than I expected. What happened to your guns?
We kept making them for a while. We produced a version of the German G3 battle rifle, the AK-4, and we helped Carl Gustav make the NVA XM73, a prototype rifle. It was part of a major design competition.
What the hell is this?
It's weird as hell is what it is.
They call it a rifle. Wait, hold on. No, that's a magazine like a rifle, but that's clearly an RPG. What? What the hell? It's a bullpup shoulder fired RPG, but also somehow a rifle. Oh, that's a toy. That is a toy.
We thought, what if a rifle was also a recoilless rifle, which sounds just like a rifle with no kick, but oh boy, was that not the case. It's pretty much anti-human and anti-tank all in one.
I take it this didn't work?
Here's the crazy thing. It did, but it was kind of too insane, and everybody would rather have specialized weapons than one that can do everything.
Yeah.
It both hurt our feelings and our prospects of continuing to make guns. We sold off our Boom Boom side to our original sister weapons factory, Carl Gustav, in 1970.
Aw, no more boom.
Oh no, the boom is always with us. Just because we started making
boom
smart
is always
lawnmowers,
with
blowers,
us.
watering, lighting construction, and chainsaws, didn't mean we didn't still keep a little nod to our history on every product. Look at our logo.
What is it?
It's a gun sight, the view down the barrel from one of our original
no
muskets, with the rear sight, barrel, and front sight. Our entire rifle-making, war-forging, submachine gun innovating history has been our logo the entire time. So every time you see a guy happily riding around on his Husqvarna lawnmower, he's actually driving around with a giant gun sight emblem on his hood, as a promise that if he shops hard enough, he can do a drive-by with a Husqvarna while riding a Husqvarna.
Wow, Husqvarna cruising down the street in his 6'4".
Wow. That was impressive. That was very impressive. I did watch one on Porsche. And yeah, Porsche made a lot more things than you would have ever considered. And of course, how the Porsche 911 kind of came about, and the very specific chancellor that helped make that a thing. Yeah, that was absolutely a thing. So what's been going on with you people out there in the chat? I haven't got to talk to most of you in a long time. I know Tara knocked a tooth out, which sucks. I totally understand. I actually still have to get one tooth done. I still have one more crown to do, but I got to pay down the credit card a lot. I just had to get new tires on the car, which I don't know if you guys know this. Tires haven't gotten cheaper. Excuse me. What else we got here? You know what? Austin has a new one. Might as well go click on it real quick while we're chilling. While you guys are typing up how life's going for you. Jay got a new couple of vehicles that kept breaking down on him, and a possibly broken foot. Or at least a very bruised foot. I mean, a couple bucks. It's not much. All right, what do we got here? Hold on. Austin's new one. By the way, I've been following Austin, just have not been watching any of the stuff other than reels and whatnot. So I saw the haircut, and I'm like, okay, looks good. Very confused, but looks good. $6. That's a bit much. I mean, that is a good question. Let me check real quick before I do this, because I buy half gallons because we don't drink that much milk. But we also get the HEB brand. So let me go just double check, see what an actual full gallon costs. $3.79 for 2%. But who the hell wants 2%? That's water pretending to be milk. Now, if you get full organic stuff, then you're pushing $7. Just straight up HEB brand milk is pretty much roughly 3.5. All of the organic stuff is significantly more. See, that makes sense. Hold on, wait. I could get a full gallon for barely more than the half gallon. It's like $2.50 for the half gallon, and it's $3.70 for the full gallon. I don't use enough milk though. But there you go. There's your answer. What? Double 626 day. Oh, it is 6/26/26. That's very dorky. You lost your house. Well, where was the last place you put it? Highland whole mic. I'm fairly certain you meant milk, but that's a whole mic. There you go. $2.49 going organic. Yeah, isn't that weird? Yeah. So it's $3-ish. But if you want like the full ass organic stuff, it's at least double. It's because they keep killing off all the cows and throwing away the milk. I mean, there is a global conspiracy to get people to stop eating red meat. So just probably expect more and more issues with dairy farms and cow farms in general, cattle farms. Just tinfoil hat time. All right, let's watch Austin's new video. What is this? Save me a seat. Okay. I don't hear.
Take me out to the ball game. Always makes me think of you. We'd sit up so high, trying to catch pop flies. There's nothing I wouldn't do to be right there back beside you. On a John boat out on Papa's pond, or the 15th row at the Diffie show. I still sing all those songs, but they ain't the same since you've been gone. Save me a seat. When I get up there, we'll pick back.
I don't know if it's just my headphones. I couldn't hear what the shaker thing. I couldn't hear that at all. Like I could see it happening, couldn't hear it. And there was a little bit of guitar that I could only barely hear right at the beginning, and I felt like I wasn't hearing the piano at all. But hold on, I want to go back because I can see the drummer doing things. I don't hear it.
Save me a seat. When I get up there, we'll pick back up where we left, you and me. When things were still perfect, the wait'll be worth it. You don't know how I miss you, but I'll tell you the next time we meet. Save me a seat.
Okay, so he's using that little vibe, but take me out to the ball game. I will say it's a very wordy song, like almost too verbose. You know, car with messed up transmission is a '94 F-250 with a 7.5. Oof. Yeah, yeah. I can't own Fords because I destroy the transmissions. Does any Ford I have ever owned, specifically owned, I say that, I have destroyed the transmissions. No ifs, ands, or buts. The universe told me a long time ago, "Hey, you're not supposed to have a Ford," and I listened. I'm currently borrowing a Ford until I get my car significantly safer to drive, which I'm hoping and praying I can manage in the next few days. Because I just, one, I'm tired of borrowing my friend's vehicle, and two, it just needs to be done. It's still not safe or comfortable to currently drive. Even though I have brand new tires now, I also don't want to burn up my brand new tires by having to deal with my wonky steering and alignment. So,
Can't wait to call you my hero. I should have told you while you were still here. I wish you could see me living your dream. I'm still chasing it all these years. And I hope you're proud of the man I am now. Save me a seat.
I'll say this one thing that's funny. You know, you guys watch enough reactors, they break stuff down. Vowel placement and the phrasings of things. He's saying "save me a seat," but he's singing "save me a seat." Almost Australian. It's kind of funny.
And I hope you're proud of the man I am now. Save me a seat. When I get up there, we'll pick back up where we left you and me. Things were still perfect. The wait'll be worth it. You don't know how I miss you, but I'll tell you the next time we meet. Save me a seat.
Also, what is the context for this song? Because it definitely sounds like dad or somebody has passed away, right? Was this a Father's Day song? Is that what it was? That's what it feels like. There's nothing in the description, so I guess so. When did it drop? Sunday? 12th? No, before. Either way. It's about his dad's passing. Oh, well, how convenient and depressing for me, right? 2010 Acadia. I don't know enough about those, to be honest. That drummer looks familiar, though.
We'll play in the band and we'll sing all the songs, watch all the games and we'll fish way too long. So I'll see you later. Till then, do me a favor and save me a seat. When I get up there, we'll pick back up where we left.
I kind of wish that the build up or the breakdown there, the pause would have been a little bit longer. It was like less than half a phrase, you know. Leader. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that, leader of the band. Yeah. So, you know, yeah, I talked with the patrons last night for those who were there, you know, how I feel about things. And on the, if you go listen to the new podcast episode, it was recorded this week because we're no longer ahead. We're up to current while we're also in the throes of trying to get a live show recorded and produced so that it can drop in 7 weeks. Right. Um, But like my whole thing with my dad passing, obviously it sucks. Sorry, I'm actually having a there it went. Okay. Uh Unlike normal people, I would guess, like I've never lost anybody to death that was close to me. Like ever. Like I've known people who died, but I wasn't necessarily close to them. I've lost family members, also not close to them. So I have never really had to go through a proper grieving for death. And the way I always like to phrase it is I lose the living because friends, girlfriends, family members basically just fuck off to wherever, sometimes without any words, sometimes with lots of big words. And instead of being able to just move on, like, okay, cool. The one weird benefit, as I've seen it to death, is that you can't really run into the person anymore. You're not trying to avoid going somewhere specifically because you know that person will be there. Now, will you have memories? Will you have nostalgia? Will you have all that? Yes. But I don't feel that in the same way that I've had to deal with the grief and loss otherwise with the living. Because there's not I can't repair a relationship with a dead person. I could attempt to repair a relationship with a living person if they would allow such a thing. So having that choice completely removed from me actually is more of a benefit because it's like, oh, it's not that me and my dad were bad off. I mean, the only issue is his dementia. Basically, his he didn't know what day it was. Half the time, I'm fairly certain he didn't know who I was. He recognized me, but didn't know who I was. And then he would go in and out. Of course, he had his more anger, more violent tendencies when things weren't going right. And then he broke his back, making it even worse. So, in essence, for myself, my father passed away a while ago. It just took a long time for his body to catch up to that. So, while I'm still kind of sad and there is work to be done, paperwork and, figuring out the funeral, obviously, when we get around to any kind of memorial service or whatever, that's going to be different. Tears will be shed, stuff like that. Being around I'm not going to cry because of me, because I know how I feel. I'm going to cry in response to other people's sadness. I've been accused of being non-empathetic, but realistically, other people's emotions have more of an effect on me than my own, especially my wife. When I had to call her and tell her what happened, I almost broke down because she broke down, not because I was sad about that. Yeah. So imagine having almost 2 years of a grieving process before the person passes away. You know, it's like it's still going to be a little bit of a shock when it happens, but at the same time, it wasn't. He's been on borrowed time since at least the beginning of this year. And then I think it was not even 6 weeks ago when he had to go to the ER, he was so bad off. Like that's the sad part. He was bad off. My mom was bad off. They were both sick at the same time in different ways. And it was just, yeah, there's not a lot of time left here. And the weird part is like, yeah, you could want to spend more time, all that kind of stuff. But when a person has dementia and is chair ridden and can't really hold a standard conversation or anything else like that, then it's personally, it's difficult to sit there and basically just be in the room with what's left of your loved one. And that's kind of the hard thing about it. And that's one reason why I said is like my dad passed away a long time ago, and his body just took a long time to catch up. And that's what was more depressing about it was just like, yeah, had he died 2 years ago when he was still significantly more cogent and everything else like that, and his brain worked a lot better, then it would have been a bit more sad. Then it would have been a bit more regret and stuff like that. Instead, we got to watch a very slow decline. So that was the depressing part. The fact that his suffering is over is actually beneficial, and positive in my mind. And I don't need to allow myself to suffer in his death because his death has ended his suffering, if that makes any sense. Being with somebody who is suffering in pain, broken, ill, whatever, you're going to have the effects, empathetic, however you want to call it, sympathetic. You will suffer along with them. But once they're gone, you, in my mind, it should be, oh, good. Their suffering has ended. I no longer have to suffer as well. That's my opinion on it. No, not going to do that. First of all, that song will make you cry regardless because James cries in it. He's got those big puppy dog eyes. And yeah, but also like, and here's a weird thing about it. Like, I've always had a distant relationship with my parents. Like, as soon as I was of the age of reason and started doing anything specifically, like on my own, making any decisions for myself, like, basically, I was just on a divergent path from my parents, no matter what. It's like some people have the benefit of being having their parents as their best friends. Your dad's your best friend, your mom's your best friend. It's like my parents were old when I was born. They had lived an entire life before I came around. So, I didn't bond with them in the same way that a lot of people would when your parents are in their 20s or even their 30s. My mom was in her late 30s. My dad was 50 when I was born. They had already lived an entire life, even individually, before they got married. And then, even as a couple, they lived an entire chunk of a life before I came along. So, there was like my era of my life, and they were just around. Not to say they were negligent or anything, but compared to growing with your parents, it's like, no, I grew away from my parents the whole time. So that's the other thing. It's just it's a very weird way to look at it because I watch other people, who lose their parents and they're dealing with their things, and it's like, oh, my mom was my best friend or whatever, and my cousin is like this, and that's cool. But at the same time, they'll criticize me and my parents, or me and my mom specifically, and be like, why aren't y'all close? It's like, because we're too similar and we have clashing ideals. It's like, it's not that we don't have animosity, so to speak, but we can't be in the room for too long before things start to devolve based on opinions. Both very intelligent and strong-willed people. So it's like, it's just the reason, like, we're too similar to be friends, if that makes any sense. Either way, let's finish this Austin song.
Love you and me, but things are still perfect. The wait'll be worth it. You don't know how I miss you, but I'll tell you the next time we meet. Daddy said, be a seat.
Nice. I mean, it's a good song. It's just a bit wordy. Like, the verses are there's a lot of lyrics per verse. But I like the notion of it. The music is pretty good. I felt there might have been an effect on his voice. I don't know if it was intentional, but it was there. Um, but still a pretty good song. I don't know. I've always felt like I was going to be a different kind of person when it came to loss because I was just in that weird zone. It was just like, yeah, I mean, I'm a generation behind most of my family, and I'm distanced from the people who are in my generation. So it's like, what do you do? Is like, it's always effectively just been me. And now I'm to the point where, while I have an enormously large family, by blood, where are they? In my life, nowhere. But I have very close friends. I've built relationships with people at church, the brewery, through the podcast. Um, sorry, breweries, and like I've got this community and this family that feels like the family I used to have, and not a single person shares blood relations with me. But all the people who do are just somewhere, you know? So it's I have become more about the family that I'm building and finding than the family I was born into. So when those people reach a point where they're passing away or major things happen to them, I'm going to probably be significantly more emotionally invested, unless they disappear too, which, I don't have, sort of looking for, like, I don't have fears of death. I have fears of abandonment and always have. So that's the thing. It's like, I don't fear death. I don't worry about death. I don't want it to necessarily happen, but it's it's just another form of abandonment. And at the same time, you have to accept both of those things when it happens. All right. I know you sent that thing, Trisha, but I do not have Instagram or any of that pulled up right now. So let's just save that for another time. And plus, it's already getting late. I wasn't going to do a full stream, anyways. Oh, okay. So before we go, I'm going to watch the new Matt Mitchell video. And if anybody's wondering what I'm drinking out of my episode 200 glass, it is actually Martin House Queen de Mint, which is a barrel aged chocolate mint stout. Ah, it's so good. Very minty, very cocoa-y. All right, Matt Mitchell, because I kind of want to laugh at things.
Welcome to the country's
So, the South, a guide for confused World Cup visitors.
playing in the South for the 2026 World Cup. We hope you enjoy your time in Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, and Miami. Well, Miami's not really in the South. Skip that. I figure by now you've
I mean, it's not Southern, but it is definitely in the South. No.
probably got some questions about the things that you've been seeing,
I just
tasting,
started
and
late,
suffering
Denise.
from. And I'd like to help make some sense of it to all the countries visiting us here in the South. So, as they say in Germany, Laken Verlass, which roughly translates to raise hell, praise Dale. Our guests from Sweden and Austria are experiencing Dallas in the summer. Yeah, please make note that it's only June, so the longer you stay in this tournament, the hotter you're going to get. And
Yeah.
fatter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Texas has got what we call the 4 Bs. Brisket, Bluebell, and big old things of Dr. Pepper. And that actually leads me to another helpful
He said 4 Bs, did he?
and fatter. Yeah. Texas has got what we call the 4 Bs. Brisket, Bluebell, and big old things of Dr. Pepper. And that actually leads
Yeah.
Leads me to another helpful hint for all the teams visiting us from around the world, but especially England and Scotland.
What's the other B? Now I'm bothered. It's like, what is the other B? Also, he speaks of Texas as though he's from here. No, no, no. You stay over there in Alabama where you belong, sir.
Who dabble in the imperial system like us, which means that we like to measure things with spoons. We
Yeah.
actually have a different measurement system
Ah,
down
got some
here
crap.
that's way easier to remember. First of all, just throw the idea of exact measurements out the window, because absolutes are for quitters. First, we've got a unit of measurement that covers everything from a molecule to a half gram of dirt. I mean, that's called a pinch. Then you move up to a good bit.
Yeah.
After that, it's a whole mess. And finally, it's more than you can shake a stick at. Oh, and speaking of moving vegetation, y'all can thank Japan for the vine that you see eating everything around you. Don't
Is that it? Bluebells? I mean, that makes sense, but it's dumb at the same time.
worry. You'll be fine as long
Also, a big old thing of Dr. Pepper.
as you keep moving. So basically, don't be England and just stand at midfield passing the ball back and forth for 70 minutes. Do something. Sorry,
Damn.
England, we love a good rivalry down here. For example, we've got the Iron Bowl, where Alabama fights itself. Then there's the third Saturday in October, where Alabama fights Tennessee. And finally, there's tornado season, where Alabama's trampolines fight gravity. I guess I should probably warn you about tornadoes, since most of our guests from Saudi Arabia and
I
Cape Verde
nearly
have never
spit.
seen one. But just know that they are real. And you'll know one's coming when you see everyone divide into two groups. One that straps on a helmet and hides, and the other one that runs outside to greet it.
Yep.
And you'll know how bad that storm is by how much clothes the local weatherman is taking off his body.
Yep.
It's a very weird system, I know, but trust me, it's foolproof. Yes,
Yeah, the weatherman clothing levels is much like the Waffle House closure levels.
and I am aware that y'all do get tornadoes in Europe. I mean, Germany gets what, like 35 a year? Texas gets 40 in May.
Right, in May, yes.
To be fair, Germany, the country,
To be
is
fair.
smaller than Texas, the state. Although a lot of Texans think they're a country, but just don't tell them I said that. Because everything is bigger in Texas. But to a lot of y'all, everything down here is going to feel bigger.
Yeah.
For example, did you know that Jordan is smaller than Tennessee? And Haiti is 3 times smaller than South Carolina. And Curacao can fit inside of Buc-ee's.
It's true.
Sorry, Buc-ee's is a gas station with 200 bathrooms and a beaver statue. Oh, yeah, and critters. Yeah.
I've never wait, where is the painted beaver statue? I've only seen them bronzed. I've never seen one with the painted red. Huh. Or painted tail for that matter. Interesting. Yes, Europeans discovering Buc-ee's has been one of the funniest things. Because one, you got every single food tuber all saying, I try everything at Buc-ee's in one day, or I try everything from Costco, or I try everything from Sam's Club, or I try everything from name specific store. Everybody's done it, and they all do it a week apart so that they can all get money. So the fact that Europeans would come, I don't know why I said it that way. Europeans would come over here and go, look for a beaver statue to worship makes sense because they've seen everything. I've had an iced mocha cappuccino that was good. Okay. Hold on. I watched a reaction to Brad Paisley's I'm Gonna Miss Her. That's hilarious. Yep. He had to lean over and spit. It's funny. Never been to. That is not how you spell Buc-ee's, ma'am. Nope, still wrong. It's Busey's. If it makes it easier, it's Busey's. It's not Buc-ee's. There's no K involved. Hold on.
Now can fit inside of Buc-ee's.
That's how you spell Buc-ee's. I knew it was in there. BUC dash EE''S. I used to also put an extra C in there because I forgot. Worship at the Beaver. You should, because it's awesome. Like, go figure. Do a quick Google, Laura. Do a quick Google for. I know whereabouts where you're at. See where the closest one is to you. I know there's several in Tennessee. I know it's still a ways out for you, but I'm just saying that's the closest I know of one to your state. Obviously, there's more. If I recall correctly, when we looked it up, they were opening 10 more across the U.S. over like the next 3 years or something. I don't know what that is, but no.
Sorry, Bucky's is a gas station.
Oh,
with
Dolly.
200 bathrooms and a beaver statue. Oh, yeah, and critters. Yeah, we've got a lot of them. Some of them that you've never seen before unless it's in your zoo or your Pokemon deck. Yeah.
I mean, what's she going to call it? Titties? Is it going to be called titties? Like what?
Got Japan's attention. First, we got this thing called a possum, although it's spelled opossum, but the O is silent because English. It's about the size of a triple meat.
Actually, it's just because the fact that there is, in fact, a creature called a possum without the O. That's why we had to designate. We found that out on a trivia night earlier this year. Wawa is pretty good.
Burger, and it's
but Wawa and Bucky's
Marsupio.
are not the same.
Oh, and it lives
they don't
in
do the same
cans
thing.
And eats ticks. Yeah, I know a lot about possums. I sell a lot of possum merch.
You do.
Gettinplace.com.
No,
just don't scare one because they will die. I'm just kidding. No, that's the thing they do. They play dead. It's kind of like, what do y'all call it? Flopping. Argentina knows
yes.
about the possums and the armadillo.
First of all, I would like to point out the fact that I did watch the Australia-American game match. And literally with minutes to spare, a ref got a Charlie horse and delayed the game another minute and a half. Are you shitting me? It's not a real sport.
It's because they've got those too. Yeah, except theirs roll into a little ball to protect themselves, and ours jump in the air.
Yeah, find out how far
when
away.
They see a car coming towards them, they just jump right into the car.
I've never seen it.
But, that shouldn't be a problem for y'all because you won't be driving down here. Right? Dear God, for your own safety, please say no.
No.
For example, the Dutch are in Houston and Dallas. The Dutch, whose country has 1.3 bicycles per person. Yeah, they're outnumbered by bicycles. Meanwhile, Dallas and Houston have 1.3 cars per truck. That's why the trucks are so big, to carry all those cars. Thankfully, the countries visiting Atlanta will have access to MARTA, the most used public transit system in the South. Spain should feel right at home because they have the second largest rail system in the world, second only to China.
Yeah.
And while Atlanta isn't nearly the size of Spain, it does have a metro area that takes up 29 counties. And MARTA serves 4 of them.
That's not enough.
So, good luck. But don't worry, there are other ways to get around Atlanta. Unfortunately, none of them work, but you do have options. Of course, y'all already knew this. It's only been 30 years since y'all were in A-Town for the Olympics? I can't remember. The important thing is that it's still the thriving city that you remember, but now literally twice as big.
Yeah, literally.
Everybody moved to Atlanta, and the Braves moved to Marietta. I know, yeah, that's a lot of ground to cover. Literally. But don't worry, for your convenience, we've placed over 1,700 rest areas across the South called Waffle Houses.
Yes.
Each one is open 24/7, but, and I cannot stress this enough, do not go between the hours of midnight and 4 a.m. without having your personal affairs in order. But if you do, just make sure you mind your manners and say please and much obliged, or as they say in Portugal, obrigado, which pretty much means the same thing because it comes from the same Latin root word. Because, for all the ways that we might be different, we surprisingly have a lot in common. For example, in Morocco, it is considered a genuine insult to turn down the offer of food from a host twice.
True. So the largest Bucky's is in Sevierville or Sevierville, Tennessee, spanning 74,000 square feet. That's impressive. I actually just wanted to see where they were. There's one in South Carolina. Oh, there's one in Virginia. You know, there is one in Virginia in Mount Crawford off of I-81. Possibly something to look into. Backing up slightly.
Lot in common. For example, in Morocco, it is considered a genuine insult to turn down the offer of food from a host twice. Twice because they'll ask you the first time and you'll go, no, I'm fine, because you don't want to put them out. But then they'll offer a second time and you have to go, all right, fine, but you just a little. Sound familiar? The
Yep.
DRC and Atlanta have the same thing going on because they both realized a long time ago that a song's only as good as the beat you put under it. The only difference is in the Congo, they've spent centuries perfecting the rhythm. In Atlanta, just figured out a faster way is just to get Lil Jon to yell, yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't do it.
That's true.
And in South Africa, they have an entire national holiday.
They're putting Bucky's in Ohio? That feels weird. Also, would they call them Buckeyes there? Or I got my states wrong.
Dedicated to cooking meat over an open fire. And we've turned at least a dozen holidays about something else into that.
Yes.
Uzbekistan has a centuries-old tradition where all the old men in town gather every day to sit around, sip something hot, and solve all the world's problems. And I'm sure they'll be glad to know that they can continue that tradition at literally any Hardee's.
Yeah.
And of course, even fast food brings us together. I mean, the most popular chain in Japan is Kentucky
KFC,
Fried Chicken.
yeah.
They've got over 1,000 of them. Kentucky only has 100. So Japan is better at being Kentucky than Kentucky. So, on behalf of the South, welcome to all of y'all. Japan, Spain, Morocco, Congo, every last one of you. Y'all came down here thinking everything was going to be bigger, weirder, louder, and you were mostly right. But underneath, or technically above, the armadillos, the 26-lane highways, the 200% humidity, you're going to find folks who are going to feed you before you even ask.
Yeah,
Or
by the
argue
way-
with you the right way to cook meat. And, of course, treat you like family before you finish that second plate that they stood over you and made you eat.
Yes.
So, as it turns out, we ain't that different after all. So let's play some soccer. Okay, well, that part is different. But we ain't gonna call football, okay? Till one of y'all win an SEC championship. Good luck.
True. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't put one in Oklahoma yet. It's not even on like the proposed ones. I'm gonna not apply for a Bucky's credit card. Locations. I want to see it on the map. Alabama. They have a damn. There's 4 in Alabama. The one in Arizona is opening soon or is already open. Colorado, CO, yeah. Daytona Beach, St. Augustine. Bunch in Georgia, Kentucky, of course. Mississippi, Missouri. Yeah, Ohio. Well, there's one currently in Ohio. Interesting. South Carolina. I think I went to the Crossville one in Tennessee. Honestly, I had no idea where the fuck I was, but we found a Bucky's. Cuz we were on the main. Wait, where is it? I definitely wasn't on Bucky's Boulevard, so that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, so the one's in Mount Crawford, Virginia. Okay, there we go. Alvin, Texas, Amarillo, Texas, Angleton, Texas, another one in Angleton, Texas. Why are there 2 in Angleton? 3 in Angleton. Good Lord. Bastrop, Baytown, Brazoria, Cypress. I haven't been to that one yet. Denton, Eagle Lake. I have been. No, I haven't been to the one in Eagle Lake. I've been to the one in Denton. I've been to the one in Ennis. Been to the one in Fort Worth. Not been to either of the Freeport ones. Been definitely to the one in Giddings repeatedly. I think Hillsboro. Katy. I think I've been to the one in Katy. Lake Jackson, no. Any of the three in Lake Jackson. There's 3 Buc-ee's in Lake Jackson. Yeah. Luling, absolutely. First one I ever went to, one in Luling. Madisonville, yep, that's right up the road. That is the closest one to me. There's one in Melissa, Texas. I'm not sure where that is. New Braunfels, that's one of the new ones. 2 in Pearland and Port Lavaca, Richmond, Royce City, Temple. I'm pretty sure I've been to the Temple one. Waller. Wait, there's one in Waller? Oh, that's right. They did open one in Waller. That actually might be closer than Madisonville. I'm gonna have to go look. I'm gonna have to go look. Wait, what was the one I said? Yeah, Giddings. Giddings is if I recall correctly, Giddings is not even a full Buc-ee's. It's actually a mini Buc-ee's. That was like a converted gas station. So it's not even the same. It's like a Buc-ee's that'll get you to the next Buc-ee's is really what it is. That makes sense. Oh, will open in Mansfield. Okay. So dude, they're gonna have to do some kind of Buckeyes joke, right? Like they have to. It's Ohio, and they're pretty comedic. So I don't know. That's weird how sounds work, guys. All right, it's late. I gotta go to bed. I gotta get up tomorrow and start editing the podcast again because I haven't touched it in well over a week, and as previously stated, I got less than 7 weeks to get it out, along with producing, recording, and also editing the next one, which is in less than 3 weeks. I also got to finish. On top of everything else, I got to finish putting this room back in order because I robbed half the cables, all of the cameras, all of the lights. I got the lights reinstalled. Video on the Patreon, by the way. And then I got to get the power cords and everything run so I can have my cameras up so we can keep doing the podcast in the interim. You're teaching tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to Mad Llama Brewing's 2nd anniversary after work. Want to have a good day. I do. I would like to have a good day. Either way, I will see you guys later. Remember, Patreon members, next week we are doing trivia night because it'll be the beginning of a new month. You know how we do. I think we got to get back to like the 90s trivia. That seems to be what Brainiac here is bringing up. So we'll do trivia. Have a, hopefully good time. We'll see about that. And that beer is kicked in. I'm already buzzing. All right. So I'll see you guys later. And of course, keep my family in your prayers, man. It's going to be a rough time. That'd be funny. That would be funny. Yes, and if I don't see you between now and then, have a good and safe 4th of July. I should see you between now and then because that's next Saturday. So, either way. I forgot how to do the thing here. What was it? It doesn't have to make sense. It just has to be loud. And then the Funicorn, which is way over here. Yay, Funicorn. By the way, I gave away a Funicorn at the live show for the trivia section. And I got to find out if he ever got it. So, see you later, guys. The alcohol is hitting me, and the tiredness is hitting me. It's bedtime. I'll see you guys later. Bye.